We're standing by. Let's take a look.
There it is.
Thank you. And looking forward to having like we said, a smooth transition. Do everything we can to make sure you're accommodated, what you need. And we're going to get a chance to talk about some of that today. So
Good.
Welcome.
Thank you
back.
very much. And thank you very much. And politics is tough. And it's, in many cases, not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today, and I appreciate very much a transition that's so smooth. It'll be as smooth as it can get, and I very much appreciate that, Jim.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
Two parties will cooperate more than the press corps appears to be right now. It's hard to make out any of those questions there. And those reporters appear to be as hot to trot as that fireplace behind those two.
Yeah, waiting to see if any comments are made here. It looks like someone in the press room is kind of directing the media out. Let's wait. Let's hang on this for just a moment longer.
Any more audio coming in?
Oh, maybe not. We were told this was going to be brief.
Yes, exactly.
It certainly was.
It was a photo op, and these two are going to meet. This is not the extent of their meeting. They're doing a private meeting behind closed doors with no cameras there. And there's the show of unity. You can hear both gentlemen exchanging pleasantries for what hopes to be a smooth transition here.
We want to bring in North Central College professor, political science professor, Stephen Caliendo. Okay, Professor, you just saw that brief interaction. Is this mostly symbolic, this meeting, or are they actually going to talk about policy?
Well, that was good TV, Natalie and Anthony, wasn't it? I mean, not since Geraldo opened Al Capone's vault did we find out his exciting moment that we got there. You're right. I mean, the symbolism is the most important thing of what this day is about. They will have a substantive meeting. I don't think it's going to be prolonged, and I don't even know, exactly how much they'll get into. Again, we're talking about somebody coming into the White House who's already been president of the United States. It's a very different dynamic. If anything, I think I wish Donald Trump would have taken a moment to have some humility there. He pointed out how important it is for that moment, but he refused. I mean, he acted like a child 4 years ago and didn't extend the invitation and didn't attend the inauguration. It would have been wonderful if he would have said, that was a mistake on my part. I wish I wouldn't have done that. I appreciate you having me here, and we're looking forward to getting together and working.
This may be Biden and Trump's only face-to-face, in-person interaction for really the foreseeable future. Professor Caliendo, what do you expect? I know we're not going to know for sure, but what do you expect, if anything, the issues that they may cover?
I'm not positive what Donald Trump would want to talk about with Joe Biden. I mean, he's been very clear publicly about what he thought about how the administration went. I don't think he's going to have logistic questions about where the restrooms are and so forth. I mean, he's not going to have that. In terms of Joe Biden, he may have some things that he wants to say in terms of hopes of what the next Trump administration will look like. He may have some words about the importance of the Constitution, guardrails on democracy. I don't know if he believes that's worth mentioning directly to the president. But sometimes when you have folks behind closed doors, you can have more meaningful conversations than you can when there are cameras present, when there's not just such a performative aspect to our politics today. We just saw it. We just saw it here, of course. So there wasn't really much going on, but there was some performance. And so they may have a more meaningful conversation. But as you say, unless somebody writes a book years from now, we may never know what's said today.
Well, we do know, I want to go back in history just a little bit. In 2016, when President Trump met with outgoing President Obama, Obama made sure to touch on North Korea being a growing security threat to the United States, as well as the importance of keeping the Iran nuclear deal in place. We know that Trump did not do that. He did not follow that directive. And then so far out of this meeting, we've heard that President Biden's national security advisor, Jake Sullivan, saying that the president really wants to address the importance of continuing to support Ukraine with President Trump. So any idea, maybe if you could pick a few things from the Biden administration, Professor, things of importance that maybe President Biden will bring up and say, you have to continue the initiative that we started?
Thanks for that refresher, Natalie. I didn't remember all those things. I appreciate you bringing that up. That's right. I remember that now that they did have that conversation. And it was a very different context, though. Donald Trump not only had not been president before at that time, he had never had any elected office. He wasn't involved in politics directly, except for through the media. And so it was really important for the President Obama at the time to tell him about things that were happening that the public wouldn't have known. There'll be some of that today. I mean, there's certainly things that President Biden knows that President-elect Trump would not have the opportunity to know. But if he talks about the war in Ukraine and Russia, if he talks about what's happening in the Middle East, these are all things that President Trump is pretty closely tied into and has made very clear, as clear as he can, where his administration is going to stand on these things. So I appreciate that reminder. It was good. I think we're going to have some. The context is different this time.
Sure.
Now, as for President Biden, he's going to be in the White House just for, I think, just over 2 months left. T-minus, 2 months and change and counting. What do we expect from President Biden in these final weeks in the White House?
Well, you almost always get pardons. Presidents on their way out. I usually issue a bunch of pardons. I don't have any insight into what those might be. There's been some speculation that, given that there are all 3 branches of government will be effectively in Republican control. I mean, technically, the courts are not partisan per se, but we know exactly where the Supreme Court's leanings have been. And they're going to have both houses of Congress. It may be that the president decides to do a few things that he had hoped to do and knows won't get done. I think there's a lot of folks hoping for a wider student loan forgiveness, for instance. And then there's speculation. The real speculation is whether Justice Sotomayor may step down so that the Democrats can put somebody younger in before President Trump gets a chance for some appointees in his next 4 years.
All right, Professor Stephen Caliendo with North Central College. Thank you for being live with us as we witness that historic moment between these 2 presidents. We always appreciate your time, sir.
It's great to see you. I hope you have a wonderful day.
You too. And you can follow the latest by streaming Fox Local. You can also go to fox32chicago.com. Again, this happening just moments ago, as Anthony said, this historic meeting between 2 presidents. We'll return you now to your regularly scheduled programming.